remember there's something I wanted to talk about. And I just am curious what people's take on this is. Whether I am going into this with an indifferent, I don't have an opinion, because I just think it's so out there that maybe, in my opinion, isn't really necessary in this space. Okay. So I'll pull it up. It is, oh, light mode is wild and incognito because it's not signed. I'm not signed in. See, I'm not signed in. You can tell. Look over here. See, Cynthia Erivo has been cast as Jesus. Oh, now it's in dark mode. Like, what's up with that? So anyway, this is a hot topic right now. I don't think, honestly, have we all seen Morgan Freeman? He was amazing as playing God. His voice was perfect. However, I think the issue is just like, okay, so I kind of see it in this way where it's like, let's take every single thing that is not what it is and has nothing to do with the religion and the moral code and the basis and the way that it plays out, and let's throw everything we can at it, right? So let's say we have a character, in this specific case Jesus, who, by the way, was not like white, right? He was from, I'm not even gonna go there. He's from like the Middle East, so there, and everybody loves to be like, well, you don't think he's white. Okay, I understand he's depicted as, but we'll do this. See, watch. There. He's pictured as this. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. This is what he's pictured as, right? Everybody knows this. We've all seen these. Like, right? He's pictured as white. Fair white. Like fair white with like blue eyes. Oh, there's a new one. I've never seen that one. Okay. But like this, right? That's interesting. The scientists have recreated the real face. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I am not going to even pretend that I have an inkling as to what he really looked like. Maybe he looked like this in the Middle East, or like that. I don't know. Why do they always like take his beard and split it in the middle? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, have you noticed that? Look, there's my phone is going crazy. That was my daughter's best friend's mom. Look, it's split in the middle. You'll see this? Anyway, so the depiction of him is obviously not true to history, but we don't have a picture of him in history. So it's not like it's something that we can just like put a photo by a photo. But we know the basis of the religion, right? We understand that the morals and the moral code of the religion. I understand that there are, depending on what you believe. Okay, we'll just say that. I'm not going to go into personal beliefs. I'm going to go into just as a neutral third party, depending on what you believe. To put a black woman is not the issue, right? That's not the issue, I don't think, is the problem. Because they had Morgan Freeman. It's not about race. It's not a race thing. It is a super controversial, very opinionated, loud gay woman or bisexual woman. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not only are you making it a woman, which is for majority of the practicing Christians is kind of not a thing. Of course, the Son of God is not a woman. Now, they're not saying that she's playing God. They're saying she's playing Jesus, who is the Son of God, the Son, right? So that's where that comes in. A male. And she's a female, and she's not a female identifying as a male. She's a female who says she's a female, who is a female, and she is bisexual. So there's two. It has nothing to do with race. Nothing. Because it's not like we even have that correct in our pictures anyway. Let's not. I mean, we all know that the Christian faith has been warped and twisted. Don't come at me. Give me a second. It has been warped and twisted to fit the era that it's in. So in other words, when we wanted to bring in the pagans for Yule, we pulled in their Christmas, we made Christmas. We pulled in their Yule and solstice traditions and merged it with the church in order to appeal to the masses and try and convert them to Christianity. Okay, so don't play and pretend like this is not a thing. That's what happens. So it's not like Jesus was a white guy, right? We all know that. We all understand geography is a basic concept, right? We understand that he wasn't from Europe, right? It took me forever to figure out where like a lot of these places were located because geography is not my thing. But the whole point being is that the reason that she got this role is because she is an African American, I'll say African American, black, whatever. She's a black woman in the LGBT space. That's why. And that to me is not correct. I don't think that's right. And the reason I don't think that that's right is because it's like it's not an adaptation, it is a replacement. Like, and I said this about Snow White, I said this about Little Mermaid and stuff, their live action remakes and stuff. I said, look, if you're going to remake something, call it a remake and do it like we're going to tell the story our way, however you want to tell it. Okay. But indicate that and say, look, this is our take on this story. Don't say, oh no, this is the story, and then change everything about it. Because everyone knows that Orthodox Christian teachings are not very friendly to, a woman being Jesus, right? And, someone from the LGBT community, because that is a very controversial thing for a lot of Christians. Now, of course, this is Jesus Christ Superstar, so it's not like I expect all the really super Orthodox people to be watching this anyway. And I've never actually seen the show. Is Broadway, right? And you top that off with all of her in your face, I'm not saying she has to be apologetic for being who she is. I mean, be you. I just don't want to have to see it in my face all the time. And if you're going to be nasty, like remember I brought it up where she was angry that somebody covered her eyes. They were taking away her soul. No, they were just making it look more like the original poster as a fan. So I know, this is going to piss people off. Now, I'm not saying don't piss people off. I'm saying there are some things I think that should be sacred, and some of them are religion. I'm not allowed. You're not allowed. No one is allowed to go after anyone else's religion. You have to be tolerant and accepting as is, however they say it needs to be, right? However, you can go after Christianity and you can morph it into whatever you want, and then everyone has to deal with it. But if they were to do this, if they were to cast Muhammad as a white lesbian woman, all hell would break loose. And you know this. So my point is the hypocrisy of why is it okay to do it in this context? Now, Jesus Christ Superstar is if I'm not mistaken, is a Broadway play. Hold on. I'm going to find out. It's a musical. Okay, so it's a Broadway musical. See? It's a Broadway musical. So, okay, do I think that there's a bit of leeway? Of course there's a little bit of leeway. Hello, Kitty Twister. Of course there's some leeway for this. There's some leeway. There's some, what's it called? Not poetic license. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. There's not poetic license, but creative license, right? This is not the Bible, right? This is a musical. So it's not as serious. It's not that serious. It's not like the Pope is like, hey, we need to accept that this person is an exact representation of Jesus. There is, good morning, Cleneth. There is some leeway and wiggle room in this context. I think it's the precedent that it sets of accepting that it's okay to replace a religious figure in that way. And it's not just that. It's that what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. It's the hypocrisy. It's how it's a one-way street. And if you flip it, the sky is falling and everyone's offended and everyone's triggered because only specific people are allowed to go this far with what they choose to do. Only certain people. And I don't care what group or specification, put it on a Venn diagram. I love Venn diagrams. Those 3 circles, I love them. Let's put off today what we could do tomorrow for yesterday's coconut tree. Anyway, it doesn't matter where you fall on the whole scale of everything, right? It doesn't matter if you're black, white, if you're purple, or blue, you might need to see a doctor. Probably lacking oxygen. It doesn't matter what your orientation is. It doesn't matter your age, right? It doesn't really matter. But if you put a very targeted, specific person into a specific role with the purpose of causing problems, and then are like, well, you're not allowed to be upset about it when it's a religious thing. I just don't understand why it's okay or why they would do that. I don't get it. I don't see the purpose. I get she can sing and they're like, hey, let's put a woman as the star of a show about a man, right? How, I mean, are they going to show the whip marks and stuff with her shirt on? Because, you know, they're not going to have her looking like this guy, right? She's not going to have her shirt off. That's not happening. I'm not saying that it's like a requirement. That's not my point. My point is that it's a whole different story when you put a female there. When you put a female surrounded by the disciples, who are they going to be portrayed by? Are they all going to be female too, right? If it was an all-female cast, I could understand that a little bit. I don't know. It's just really interesting that this is such a big deal. I'm curious. I was trying to find. Okay, so I'm not interested in super. We know that people are pissed. We know that some people are pissed, right? We know. I don't need anybody to tell me that. I know that some people are like, yes, do it. Okay, I don't need anyone to tell me that. I like the in-between. I want the in-between take of the, okay, well, I get it. And that's where I'm trying to come from, is that in-between neutral sort of kind of. I'm not really neutral, but I'd like to at least approach it in that way. Oh, here we go. TikTok. Oh, wait. I can't wait. I've never seen any of this, guys. Like I said, have not been watching anything. You're watching the internet with me. Oh my gosh, stop. You're watching the internet with me. So let's turn the sound on. And this, by the way, is her. This is in the musical. This is now To Be Jesus. I mean, I personally think that, you know, nailed it. Just kidding. All right, let's see what they say.
Backlash after announcing her first major role since Wicked. In an Instagram story posted on Tuesday, the 18th of February, the actress revealed she will be playing Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl, writing, "Just a little busy this summer, can't wait." The rock opera, written by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, follows Jesus and his disciples during the last week of his life. While some users on social media have called the casting blasphemous, this isn't the first time a woman or a person of color has played the titular role in Jesus Christ Superstar. Erivo previously played Mary Magdalene in an all-female recording of the musical in 2020, with actress Morgan James taking on the role of Jesus, and in 2018, singer John Legend also played the Messiah in a live TV production.
Okay, whoa. Did you catch that? In an all-female cast. I don't know why they brought up Mary Magdalene. Like, I don't see why that was applicable. She's female. Like, I don't know why. I thought that anyway, it was just unnecessary information. John Legend, okay. So he played Jesus, okay. I don't know why that was brought up. I'm assuming because he's a black man. I'm assuming that's why that they're mentioning it as if that's the issue, which I'm telling you, in my opinion, I don't think that's the issue. I don't. I think it's the sexual orientation, because it's such a big deal in the church. So that's my opinion.
John Legend also played the Messiah in a live TV production. Fans also noted that the show has always pushed the boundaries, with writing, "People need to understand that it's in the fabric of Jesus Christ Superstar to be irreverent. It is campy, it is messy, it is bit crazy, and for good reason." Another added, "If you're mad at this, you do not know anything about Jesus Christ Superstar." Cynthia will be taking on the role as Jesus between August 1st and August 3rd at the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay, so there's that. All right, so here's the thing. And I want to make myself big for this one. Let me make this super clear. I don't think it has anything to do with her race. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that the person playing the role has any specific sexual orientation. I don't think that whatsoever. I think the issue is that they are specifically advertising the role of Jesus to a black bisexual woman for a role that is generally supposed to be a man. Now, of course, this is a musical. And in this world in theater, I know that things get really, they push boundaries and they push back and they do all this stuff. I get it. I understand that. And they, like I said, creative license, I get it. But then say so, right? If you notice that none of the examples that they gave had anything to do with this combination being the role. Now, they're making it about her orientation. They're making it about that. It's not the fact that she's a female. It's not the fact that, actually, it is the fact that she's a female to a point, but it's not the fact that she's black. That's not even on the table. So let's take that off the table. Nobody cares. I mean, I'm sorry, not sorry. No one cares. I mean, if you still see people in color as, whether somebody is, if that is a qualifying characteristic of something that is out of their control and they have nothing to, they can't, they were born that way. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That sounds like a you problem and something maybe you need to fix. I don't know. I'm not saying that a traditional role that is specifically described, like if you're reading a book and you are making a movie out of a specific book and it says Snow White has white skin and black hair and red lips, and you go in there with purple lips, blonde hair, and you're, I guess black. I don't know how that translates unless you say it's like, if you make that distinction that This is your interpretation. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I think that people are up in arms, not because they hear Jesus is being played by a Black lesbian or bisexual woman and they lose their minds. Because traditionally, Orthodox Christianity and almost every single format, Craig, I know you can back me up on this, is very specifically gender roles, male, female, or two genders, as well as there is very frowned upon, the other orientations are frowned upon. Now, Orthodox, it's not just frowned upon, you're going to hell. There are a lot of accepting and loving people who either hope that by showing the love that maybe you will find the path back to the righteous way, or believe that there's multiple paths and it's not my job to judge you. That's God's job. That's not mine. So I just think that it's the fact that they are putting it into the universe as a blazing eye. Like, they're not just doing it and saying, oh my gosh, this is like this adaptation of it and they're going to be using this character in this role. They're not doing that. They're saying I, and then they're adding all the adjectives. They're saying Black, bisexual, female. Like, that's her in her description of everything she does. And Jesus. And people are getting mad. So it is what it is. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. I just understand why people are upset. Now, if it was any other production but a Broadway musical, I might be a little bit more understanding of being upset. I think it's a little bit over the top to be upset. It's Broadway. It's the stage. Anybody ever hear of William Shakespeare? You guys do understand that most of the actors that played every role were men. Cross-dressers. So it's how that worked. You didn't have females on stage at the time. Austin, to be honest, though, a lot of musical companies, theater groups have been men dressing as women and women dressing as men on a regular basis throughout history. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, I just thought this was an interesting topic because I heard about it and I saw something posted about it and I know that people were up in arms about it. And I'm just curious what people think. And it's not because I'm not going to tell you if I think it's an amazing idea or if I think it's a horrible idea. I just am going to tell you that I don't appreciate hypocrisy. Because like I said, and I'll say it one more time, if a white gay woman wanted to portray Muhammad in a public setting and claimed to be Islam or, Muslim, whatever, guess what? There'd be pitchforks and controversy and they'd be canceled immediately. How dare you? How dare you? But in this, Christianity and Jesus is allowed to be attacked. That's allowed to happen. Now, I'm not saying this is an attack. I'm saying that's why people are so upset, I think. And plus, some people are just obnoxiously up in their own little worlds of what they think is right and wrong. And they're going to throw tantrums about it. What are you going to do? It's the internet. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I hope you guys think it's interesting. I'll end up putting the link so that, what I did click on, make sure that you guys can go look at it yourself.